Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 21 in the NKJV for May 21, 2023. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Like the rivers of water, he turns it wherever he wishes. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. A haughty look, a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked are sin. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. Getting treasures by a lying tongue is the fleeting fantasy of those who seek death. The violence of the wicked will destroy them because they refuse to do justice. The way of a guilty man is perverse, but as for the pure, his work is right. Better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. The soul of the wicked desires evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise, but when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous God wisely considers the house of the wicked, overthrowing the wicked for their wickedness. Whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be heard. A gift in secret pacifies anger, and a bribe behind the back, strong wrath. It is a joy for the just to do justice, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. A man who wanders from the way of understanding will rest in the assembly of the dead. He who loves pleasure will be a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not be rich. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. He who follows righteousness and mercy finds life, righteousness, and honor. A wise man scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. Whoever guards his mouth and his tongue keeps his soul from troubles. A proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. The desire of the lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to do labor. He covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not spare. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it in wicked intent? A false witness shall perish, but the man who hears him will speak endlessly. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the upright, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against the Lord. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the deliverance is of the Lord. Happy Sunday. Hope you got to church, saw your church family, something like that. Saw your family, spent some time. I needed church today for sure. It was good to hear a guest speaker and his real life experience, and it's nice to hear somebody who's been there and been through real struggles and come out the other side, and not somebody who's just preaching. I don't want to talk down on that, but when somebody can say that they've honestly struggled with some of these things and been in the trenches, and his example was the 12 steps, you can appreciate the honesty from the pulpit and the experience. So I always think about this, we're supposed to honor our leaders and follow them because ultimately, they're put in place of the Lord. And then evil leaders. Yeah, but even evil leaders can have their hearts turned the way that the Lord wants them and is expedient for his purposes. A thought, not a new one. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs his hearts. It's like the last 4 chapters have had this proverb. These several chapters have been, literal proverbs and directions, observations to a child, but nonetheless. This one always strikes me. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Just do the right thing. Just do what you're put in place to do at the time you're placed to do it where you're at currently. Just heard that on a sermon too. Not 15 minutes ago. So, a haughty look and a proud heart and the plowing of the wicked. Even the wicked's effort, man. Their sacrifice is an abomination. Their plowing is sin, because they're plowing, they're going forth in their own intention, their own, way, without the Lord and the Lord's blessing. It's not even like the pagan, ancestral kind of things, like, oh, well, if we do this, we'll get a blessing. No, you're blessed when you stay in the way you're supposed to go. More on the diligent. Be diligent. I think this is currently a bad choice, but I had to go out. I had to get a sippy cup that was left behind at house church. And if you got kids and they got a favorite cup right now, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. So managed to fit it in between 2 deliveries, but it's slow right now, so gonna go be diligent and keep planting plants in my garden, hang out with my kiddos, but take advantage of the nice light and the time away to just do it. Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus. I managed to fix something without breaking it. On this car, you gotta slide out the entire rear tail light after unbolting and everything else. Oh my gosh. I just knew, because of the way I am, it's the destructo gene. I'm just going to pull it off and I'm going to rip the whole thing off, and then it's going to be broken, so it's never going back on. No. After following the example of somebody in my house church, in fact, the host, and some difficulties he relayed yesterday, and then hearing in church today, go talk to Jesus about it. His grandmother's advice was, go have a little chat with Jesus, or sing a little song to Jesus. It'll be all right. Fam, it was all right. I'll take it. So that's what I start telling my kids, I suppose. There's a couple things here about doing things by lying, or the way of death, and just fleeting treasures, and landing yourself in the grave. It's kind of like live by the sword, die by the sword. Want to be a gangster, gonna get got by a gangster, or by the cops, depending. Just saying. Not new advice. Sorry, I'm pointing at my phone. I don't know why I'm pointing at my sunglasses. Don't mind me. Been that kind of weekend. Done a couple of real dumb things. Whatever. I digress. 2 or 3, I think 2 in here, specific ones about better to just live alone, or in a teeny tiny little spot, than with a contentious woman. Because, oh man, if you've got a lady that you love, or don't love, but you are married, and especially if you have kids, ooh, you got to keep that lady happy. And it's not like appeasement. You got to have a healthy relationship, because an unhealthy relationship, or even a healthy relationship with an unhealthy lady, is toxic. So, got to work on it. You can't make people work out their own issues. You know what I mean? You absolutely just can't do it. Beg, borrow, steal, scream. When they're ready, they're ready. And when they seek the Lord about it, they'll sort it. And it goes for several people I know right now. Myself included, as always. Man, my eyes are on fire. The cottonwood is blooming like crazy on the back of everything else right now. I didn't think my eyes were burning that bad, and here I am. There's a specific thing here. Where is it? A gift in secret pacifies anger, and a bribe behind the back strong wrath. That's not an endorsement. That's advising somebody, your kid, this is how the way the world works. This isn't go bribe people. So, I mean, look, you do what you got to do, I suppose, if you get in a situation that dictates that. But we should operate in the light. We should we shouldn't be giving bribes. Gifts in secret, maybe, right? Context is important. Nuance is important. Let's just say, for unbalanced scales, measures, verdicts, outcomes, things like that. Probably not something you want to do. I wonder if that guy heard me or he just decided he was putting on some music and moving out the way. Either way, hope he did hear me. It's Jesus week. We're going to get together and pray if we can manage to do it. There's 2 days. I think I might be able to swing it. And then go forth in pairs, encounter people in the wild, and just talk to them, show them some love, show them the love of Jesus, and see what the Lord blesses. And then we'll go back for lunch, and I think more people are going out. So as I can, I'm definitely going to try to participate in that this week. Fingers crossed for boldness for myself. And not so much to talk to people or to engage with people. That's not the problem. It's more like I need things to fall into place. I'm working late at night, working a couple hours a night, not making very good money at all, but just trying to make any money that I can. And then I got to get up early. So I talked in house church today about, I don't know, maybe that's what I got to be doing too, is get back in the gym, but body is not doing so great. So don't know if it'll help or heal or hurt. Heal or hurt. Let me at least say here, where is it, man? Scoffer is his name. A proud and haughty man. He acts with arrogant pride. And that's what I was saying about plowing. The wicked plowing their fields is they're just going to do what they're going to do. They know best. The ways of a man are right in his own eyes, but the Lord searches his hearts. Or hearts. So, just a thought. Which is weird, because you've got evil people doing it, but then you've got all these people, well, it doesn't say righteous or evil, they're sinning because of it, but they're lazy man. Their hands refuse to labor. For the desire of the lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to labor. He just covets. There it is again. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more is he bringing with wicked intent? So don't be wicked. Don't be wicked. Your work is not blessed. Your sacrifice is not blessed. Your use of Proverbs and understanding is not blessed. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against the Lord. That's its own little thing, right? I mean, that's its own little sermon, little mini thing we can get into. Sorry, it's hot in here, but I'm trying to spare everybody the road news. But I will end on, that's important. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against the Lord. Next proverb. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance is of the Lord. You know what that means? You don't just always hit your knees and say your prayers and hope God's going to hit you in the head with a block of cash as a bank robber's fleeing the scene. Okay? Even so, that's probably not yours to keep. Anywho, the point is, you were supposed to do the work. You were supposed to be prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, situationally, familially. If you're in a leadership role, whatever. Be prepared. Prepare your horse, your steed, your situation for the day of battle, and then you pray for deliverance, because that's where it's coming from. It's from the Lord. Go with God. Be blessed.